54 million Americans have a disability, 2/3 of which have a severe disability. For persons with disabilities between the ages of 16 and 64, 55.8%, or approximately 18.6 million of those individuals are employed. Given the fact that we are all human, we are all less than perfect. The Developmental Disability Act recognized years ago that disability is a natural part of the human experience. That does not diminish the right of an individual with developmental or other disabilities to enjoy the opportunity to live independently, enjoy self-determination, make choice, contribute to society, and experience full integration and inclusion in the economic, political, social, cultural, and educational mainstream of American society. We now recognize the many benefits to having a diverse employee workforce. First, it enhances our return on investment, our ROI. 92% of the American public view companies that hire people with disabilities more favorably than those who don't. Let me repeat that. 92% of the American public view employers more favorably who hire people with disabilities than those who don't. 87% of the American public would prefer to give their business to companies who have individuals with disabilities. Second point, it increases human capital of an organization. Research and anecdotal experience suggests that there is less turnover with a person with a disability. Consider that the approximate cost of replacing and retraining each employee ranges from 99% to 200% of the annual salary of the lost employee. The benefit of employee retention is obvious, and the cost of providing reasonable accommodations is minimal. 20% of all reasonable accommodations cost nothing. Most cost between $1 and $500, the median cost being $240. As everyone in this audience knows, technology has dramatically reduced the cost of most accommodations. 3, innovation. I'm in a workplace that I'm not qualified to talk about innovation. EMC is a leader in innovation of storage of data. But you recognize that diverse teams bring creative solutions to business issues. Diversity is to be sought after, embraced, and nourished. I shudder to think of the lack of innovation and creativity in work groups who look alike, who think alike, who view the world through only one lens. Fourth, marketing. The disability community is huge. 30% of 70 million American families have at least one family member with a disability. It's estimated that $1 trillion market segment, 75% of individuals with disabilities are head of our own household. 40% are preferred shoppers in their families, and 58% own their own home. Social responsibility. 65% of Americans are willing to switch to a brand associated with a good cause if price and quality are relatively equal. Now, my own experience, think of Paul Newman and the Paul Newman products, and the brands, the salad dressings, the salsa, the lemonade, with all the net profit going to charities like his Hole in the Wall gang that does wonderful work with kids with cancer and supporting their families. Also, socially responsible investments, that is mutual funds that screen companies for their contributions to society have risen 258% in the last 10 years, and that return on investment is 15% higher than other mutual funds. Now, apart from these statistics and policy concerns, I'll tell you a personal story. One of my law partners has a daughter, Jenny, who has a developmental disability. And Jenny lives in a residential home that her mom and dad purchased, supported by a human service agency. Jenny, as I said, has an intellectual disability. She works for a large accounting firm doing administrative support and cleaning functions. longtime employee. She meets many of the job applicants who come to work, who come to be interviewed at the accounting firm. And many have said that one of the reasons they have decided to choose that accounting firm over others is the fact that they've chosen to hire Jenny. Why is that? Why would that be? Values. We want to be part of an organization that has strong values, that has wisdom, innovation, tolerance, and a commitment to diversity. And by coming together as a group, the EMC Disability Employee Resource Group and EMC's leadership recognize that inclusion is a priority. There's a change in a corporate culture from involuntary compliance imposed by external requirements to voluntary inclusion, which is part of the cultural fabric of an organization. And that's what I believe has happened here.